Hello, everyone, and happy summer. That's right, the summer is getting started, so I thought I'd give you a sneak peek at what's coming soon. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd, which, if you didn't know, in the book world, Tuesday is release day for new books. So I'm going to mention some books that come out in June, July, and August, a couple of which are coming out today, June 2nd. So I hope that you find one you like and maybe get to enjoy a book release of your own. So the first one is getting released today, June 2nd, and it is called It's Girls Like You, Mickey. And this is actually a companion novel to another book that this particular author wrote called I'm Okay, but you don't have to read I'm Okay before you read this particular one. For the first time in her confident, bold life, Mickey McDonald is nervous about starting school. Her best friend, Okay, has moved away. Her father has probably left town for good, and she can't afford to go back to school shopping. But she's going to make the most of things because that's the kind of person Mickey is. Nothing's going to stand in her way or get her down. Still, the first few days of school are rough until she becomes friends with Sunju, who has just moved to town. Their connection is instant and strong, but things get complicated when Sydney, the popular and mean girl in Mickey's class, also takes a shine to Sunju. Suddenly, Mickey is facing her first ever friend breakup, and it's getting harder and harder to keep her chin up. Luckily, Mickey's made of tough stuff. So it's a little bit of realistic fiction for you, a nice little heartfelt story about friendship. So again, this is a companion novel, but you don't have to read the first book to understand what's going on. Just a lot of the same characters are in this particular one. This next particular book is another realistic fiction book that comes out today, June 2nd. It's called Brave Like That. Find yourself, find your place, find your brave. This uplifting tale, which award-winning author Leslie Connor dubbed Perfectly Paced Journey of the Heart, is perfect for fans of Lisa Graff and Linda Mulaney Hunt. So if you liked the book Fishing and Free, you'll definitely like Brave Like That. Cyrus Olsen's dad is a hero, Northfield's former football star and now one of their finest firefighters. Everyone expects Cyrus to follow in his dad's record-breaking footsteps, and he wishes they were right, except he's never been brave like that. But this year, with the help of a stray dog, a few new friends, a little bit of rhythm, and a lot of nerve, he may just discover that actually he is. Lauded as remarkable by the New York Times Book Review, Lindsay Stoddard's heartfelt stories continue to garner critical acclaim, and her latest novel will have fans new and old rooting for Cyrus and Parker's special bond and the courage it helps them both to find. So if you like stories about dogs, you will definitely like Brave Like That. The next one up is another June 2nd release. It's called Beyond Me, and this particular book is considered a historical fiction book. In the spirit of Place to Belong, this remarkable novel in verse examines the aftershocks of the earthquake and tsunami that devastated Japan in 2011 through the eyes of a young girl who learns that even the smallest kindness can make a difference. Remember, a novel in verse is not like a regular book like you would expect a chapter book. It's all told in kind of like a poetry form. It doesn't have to rhyme, but it is told that way. So these books are great with their imagery. They're often a little bit faster and easier to read. March 11th, 2011, an earthquake shakes Japan to its core. A tsunami crashes into Japan's coast. Everything changes. In the aftermath of the natural disasters that have struck her country, 11-year-old Maya is luckier than many. Her family didn't lose their home, their lives, or each other. But Maya still can't help feeling paralyzed with terror, and each aftershock that ripples out in the days that follow make her fear all over again that her luck could change in an instant. As word of the devastation elsewhere grows increasingly grim, tens of thousands have perished. It all seems so huge, so irreparable. Already flinching at every rumble from the earth, Maya is overcome with a sense of helplessness and hopelessness. How could her country ever recover, and how could anything she does possibly make a difference? Before Maya can extend a hand to others, she must dig deep to find the hidden well of strength in herself. In this sweeping, searing novel that shows even small acts can add something greater and help people and communities heal. So again, a realistic fiction book, which remember, the story itself may not be real, but the events, the historical events are. So there was a tsunami and an earthquake in Japan in 2011. So this particular girl is talking about the aftermath of all of it. What happened to her family, her community, and all the people that she knows and loves. This next particular book comes out in June again, June 9th. It's called The Invisible Boy. If no one sees him, does he exist? This superhero-inspired adventure story explores friendship and what it means to be a truly brave. Nadia finds adventure in the pages of her Superman comic books until a mysterious boy saves her dog from drowning during a storm and then disappears. Now she finds herself in the role of Lois Lane, hunting down the scoop of the invisible boy, and suddenly she's a real-life adventure that's far more dangerous than anything in her comic books. The Invisible Boy is a mystery and an adventure story, as well as a story about a child labor trafficking. Like Catherine Applegate, author of Crenshaw and Wishtree, Alyssa Hollingsworth takes a difficult subject matter and makes it accessible for middle grade readers. So once again, some mystery and adventure, considered realistic fiction, but it's still a great mystery story. This next book starts our July releases, Not Your All-American Girl. So if you like books about plays, or if you love the theater, you'll definitely like this one. Lauren and her best friend Tara have always done absolutely everything together. So when they don't have any classes together in 6th grade, it's disastrous. The solution? Trying out for the school play. Lauren, who loves to sing, wonders if maybe, just maybe, she will be the star instead of Tara this time. But when the show is cast, Lauren lands in the ensemble, while Tara scores the lead role. Their teacher explains, Lauren just doesn't look the part of an all-American girl. What audience would believe that she, half Jewish, half Chinese Lauren, was the every girl star from Pleasant Valley, USA? From amidst the ensemble, Lauren tries to support her best friend. But when she can't bring herself to sing anymore, her spot in the play and her friendship are in jeopardy. With the help of a button-making business, the music of Patsy Cline and her 2 bickering grandmothers can help Lauren find her voice again. Acclaimed co-authors Madeline Rosenberg and Wendy Wan Long Shang return in the 1980s world of Sidney Taylor honor book, This Is Just a Test, with this laugh-out-loud coming-of-age story. So there's a little bit of drama in it, but if you like music, if you like the theater, you'll like this particular book, which releases once again in July. Continuing on with our July releases, I actually just did a chapter 1 read aloud on this book. So if this sounds good, head back to the YouTube page and check out that chapter 1 read aloud. In this debut middle grade girl power friendship story, an 8th grader starts a podcast to protest the unfair dress code enforcement at her middle school and sparks a rebellion. Molly Frost is fed up because Olivia was yelled at for wearing a tank top when she had to keep her sweatshirt wrapped around her waist, because Liza got dress coded and Molly didn't, even though they were wearing the exact same outfit. Because when Jessica was pulled over by the principal and missed a math quiz, her teacher gave her an F. Because it's impossible to find shorts that are longer than her fingertips. Because girls' bodies are not a distraction. Because middle school is hard enough. So Molly starts a podcast where girls can tell their stories, and soon her small rebellion swells into a revolution. Because now the girls are standing up for what's right and they're not backing down. So this book is told in varying different formats. So some of them are in the podcast format, some of them are letters, some of them are just regular chapter stories. So Dress Coded comes out July 7th. This next book starts our August release books. So this one's going to be released on August 4th. It's called Paola, Santiago, and the River of Tears. This one is not by Rick Riordan, even though it says Rick Riordan Presents. Rick Riordan Presents is a publishing company that Rick Riordan started that highlights authors, usually newer authors, that are writing books about mythology, stories of mythology, no matter what culture they come from. As you already know, if you're a Rick Riordan fan, he writes a lot about mythology. So these all kind of fall in that same mystical realm. Space-obsessed 12-year-old Paola Santiago and her 2 best friends, Emma and Dante, know the rule: stay away from the river. It's all they've heard since a schoolmate of theirs drowned a year before. Paola is embarrassed to admit that she has been told to stay away for even longer than that, because her mother is constantly warning her about La Llorona, the wailing ghost woman who wanders the banks of the Gila at night, looking for young people to drag into its murky depths. Hating her mother's humiliating superstitions and knowing that she and her friends would never venture into the water, Paola organizes a meetup to test out her new telescope near the Gila, since it's the best stargazing spot. But when Emma never arrives and Paola sees a shadowy figure in the reeds, it seems like maybe her mom was right. Paola has always relied on hard science to make sense of the world, but to find her friends, she will have to enter the world of her nightmares, which includes unnatural myths, mind-bending monsters, and relentless spirits controlled by a terrifying force that defies both logic and legend. So lots, obviously, mythology, but lots of adventure as well. And the last book I'm going to talk about today, again, another August release, releases August 11th, is How to Be a Girl in the World. From the critically acclaimed author of the ALA Notable and Charlotte Huck Honor Book book forever, and a long, long time comes, a poignant coming-of-age novel about the complicated parts of growing up, finding your voice, and claiming your space. Perfect for fans of Rebecca Steed and Corey Ann Hadou. Lydia hasn't felt comfortable in her own skin since the boys at her school started commenting on the way she looks in her uniform. Her cousin and friends think she should be flattered, but the boys, and sometimes her mom's boyfriend, Jeremy, make Lydia uncomfortable and confused. Even more confusing is when Jeremy hovers too close and hugs a little too long. Then her mom surprises her by buying a dilapidated house in their neighborhood. Lydia hopes to find a little bit of magic in their new home. But just like the adults in her life, and God, and her friends, the magic Lydia deeply believes in eventually loses its power to keep her safe. And as 7th grade begins, Lydia wonders, is there a secret to figuring out how to be a girl in the world? So an interesting realistic fiction book that has a lot of drama to it. So this one comes out August 11th. So there you go. There are some good features coming out this summer. So hopefully, in addition to all the summer reading you're going to be doing, you can add these newer releases. So thanks for joining us, and look for more videos this coming summer.